Hey, it's Doom here, Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, one half of the Dungeon Swag team. And I think what I want to do is I want to make a witch hut. And I want to try to use some like sticks and some organic materials, but I also want to make it. I don't. I can't even think English today. Sorry, I just woke up. I stayed up way late last night talking to a old buddy from college on the phone, and we've been friends for 20 something years, and I am just a mess. All right, have I even had coffee yet? Probably not. But I want to make a witch hut, and I want this to be done with some organic materials like sticks and stuff. And I want this to be able to go in like a swamp terrain or in a forest or a jungle or anything. So I don't want to make it a swamp-specific base. But my goal is to have it elevated off the ground either way. Because if you look at like a lot of like pictures of witch huts and stuff, they always kind of have them like rickety and on sticks. So I kind of want to do something like that. I think that'd be cool. So I got a bag of sticks here somewhere. Here we go. Let's see what we got to work with. That'd be good. We could really just kind of even do like the frame of the house and sticks. I'd like some rickety wooden steps going up to it maybe. So let's see what we can come up with. I think I got a couple of good sticks here to mess with. These bags of sticks happen to be free. I know I've mentioned I'm cheap. I just go outside and collect these. I went out a couple weeks ago and trimmed up some vines and stuff off of my fence line and got these sticks. And maybe I have a bag of bark here too, actually, if I look. No, I don't see it too. So for this craft, we're going to use predominantly cardboard. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we're going to use cardboard. I thought I had some of that coconut stuff that you buy at like craft stores and crap. I was over at, a couple of years ago, I was over at Joanne Fabrics and I found a bunch like of this coconut crap for really cheap. And I got them for like $1 a piece and I thought I had it. Since I don't. Alright, we're going to need some popsicle sticks, if you have them, tongue compressors. If not, you can cut it directly out of cardboard. But anything you can do to sturdy up a project is usually good. So, using some wood and some cardboard is a good mix. Using a plastic base, if you can, is a good mix. If you can't, that's okay too. See if my glue gun's heated up yet. Not just yet. Alright, so what I want to kind of do is figure out a shape here. Let me get some snippers. Alright. Let's whack off this little weird piece here. And this little weird piece here. You can leave those on if you want. I don't. I don't want. Alright. So let's get an idea of how big this thing's going to be. So we want it to sit on this base so it kind of fits on the shelf and it takes up a similar amount of room. Something like that. I want it to be roughly yay big. Well, we should build it right on here so we know how big it takes up. Now we know we want to have some steps. So what we'll do, so we can have a couple steps coming down, is we'll trim it to fit in a yay spot. Is that already the right size? Oh man, look at that. Perfect. Alright. So we're going to get this and we're going to see if... Oh no, we got to cover this base up. Because there's a hole there and we don't want that. So this is just a Pop-Tart box. And all I'm doing is setting it on there. And I'm just going to cut out around it. Oops. Oh, I missed the whole side. I am terrible. Worst crafter ever. Alright. So I noticed that some of that kind of popped up when I was coming around. Yep. So we got to get in there. Oh, see what's happening there? The plastic from the CD is popping up. These are old. I got these at a thrift store. So you'll have stuff like that, and that'll be okay. It won't ruin anything, I don't think. We'll just make sure we get enough glue on there to fix that. Oh, look at that. Right in the middle like a dumbass, and that's what you get. Happy Independence Day, everybody. 4th of July. Okay, so we know we need our 4 pieces to kind of come together in such a way that we have a frame here. I'm not sure how I want to do that. We don't want a bunch of spider webs, and we don't want this to be unstable either. So and you're probably thinking, oh, that might not be 90 degrees. Well, I mean, this witch's hut's out here in the wilderness for God knows how long. She might have inherited it from a witch before that trained her or that she killed. We don't know. So we're not going to make it a big thing. And I'm just doing a rough measurement here. Actually, you know what? Let me mark it because all right, so for the first one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some of them the entire length of the house. I got to charge my phone. Holy crap. Where's my phone charger at? There it is. Nope. Try again. There it is. Hold on, kids. I say kids. This video is not for kids. I just call people kids. So, like I said, I want to do this so where some of these can run the whole length and some run like half the length just to give it some interest and make it a little different and weird, okay? And I want these planks to be a little exciting. I don't want them to be super boring. My intent is not that you see a bunch of the inside of this house, but I don't want it to look bad inside. Where did I cut that stuff up? So how I kind of do this is I just get like a piece of metal. I have this like sculpting tool here that I couldn't tell you where it came from, and I just kind of make different lines through it and just give it a little bit of a like a fake cartoony wood texture. Will that fit in there? It will. Perfect. We just want that to go right in there. Oops. There we go. Push that in there. Good. Get that glue bonded a little bit. Chunk. Alright, so my goal is to have these kind of sit like that. And I'm going to go across them. So to hold this thing up on pillars, we're going to try to cut these bottoms a little flat. And figure out a good height where we want our house to sit. Well, I have a bad habit of doing that. So see how they're getting bigger as they go? That's because I'm a crackhead. That's why. Okay, we got 3 and 4. So this side's relatively flattish, it looks like. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over and get a little bit of glue. Then now we're looking at the bottom here. We're just going to put these pillars in like this. Now I've never built this before, one of these before, and I don't really have a plan. So as usual, we're just kind of seeing what we're going to do. And if it turns out awesome, which it seems like the majority of the time things turn out pretty good, right? Turns out awesome, cool. If not, well, I think we're all building it out of freebies today, so we'll get over it. Alright, something like that. Looks a little taller than I wanted. Yeah, it's a little taller than I wanted, so what we can do is we can give that a second to sit, and we can even put a little bit more glue in here just to kind of sturdy that up. We can just come back and snip this down to more realistic height. No worries, dudes. No worries. Now we are truly eyeballing it. And I'm going to have a mess to search for. It's kind of like an Easter egg hunt. You guys know Easter egg hunts? Is that still a thing? I do that with my kids still. I even hide my adult son's Easter stuff when they come over. I don't care. Everyone's shit is getting hidden. It's Easter, and we're hiding it. The bunny came, and you're going to look. You're going to search high and low, in and around, behind. Going to be anywhere. Sometimes if I get the opportunity and I think somebody has found somebody else's thing, I would even move it mid-hunt. I am dastardly. Alright. This looks like more like what we wanted. And even if this is not 100% parallel to the ground, it's going to look okay, I think. Alright, let's let that set. Now, I made a terrible error here. Had I been thinking ahead and thinking smart, we would have done this base first. And we can still pull this off here and do that. That's the plan, is to get this off here before this glue gets too hard. And do something with this base. We want some sand or something on here. Sorry, guys. Mistakes happen. You just kind of, move on. All right. What are we going to use? Let's use... I know. This is going to... Your mind's going to be blown. You're going to say, oh, I can't believe we're using these materials. Wow, you are so funny, man. You just come up with the best and goodest ideas is what you're going to not say. So normally I would use sand for the predominant mass of this, okay? But because I want this to be more sturdy, and sticking sticks down on wet glue sand isn't going to be ideal, we're going to use a little bit of flock. Some of the dark green. And this is homemade. This is sawdust and probably tea and some kind of seasoning of some sort, All my flock is kind of made in the same manner. I get sawdust. I put it in a colander or strainer and sift it down to get the smallest pieces that I want. Use rubbing alcohol and paint, and then grind it all up in a mortar and pestle when I'm done. That's kind of just a generic. And I think a lot of people do this. Old war gamers, like old tabletop war gamers, like that used to do like World War II stuff and Napoleonic stuff. And I say old because, like chainmail even existed in my lifetime. So this is like pre-chainmail people did this kind of stuff. All right, something like that. That will work nicely for what we want to do. So let's pluck this crap off. Let's try this again. Wow, a lot of string. A lot of spider webs. All right, let's try that again. A little smarter this time. There we go. I'm not sure if it's even going to stick with that glue under there. I don't know. It might. But let's try it. Probably could have hit it with a hairdryer or something first, All right. So, as far as the slats going across the house go, we're just going to work carefully because we don't know how good that's going to be. Well, we got a stick there connected by a wisp. Now I'm covering glue. All right. So what I want to do is I just want to get a little bit of glue on these. And kind of get it in place. One side and then the other. And these don't have to be perfect, dudes. Oh, I'm kind of a dumbass. So let's think about this realistically. If I wanted some of these to go halfway across, I would have needed a support to go the other way, huh? And I sure would have, and I didn't do that. So let's see if we can get a support in there and try that. Give that a second to set. We're going to have to try to get one back in there too, I'm guessing. That would have been easier without that first piece on there for sure. All right. Now, okay. Now I think we can do something like that. So let's get a measurement here for that center line. Let's rough this up. You can put as much effort into this part or as little as you want. Just making some grooves so that it sticks out some. And you can have a little bit of a gap in this because miniatures will still stand, This is not a crisis situation where we have to worry about the miniatures not standing up. I should have put that over more so I could lay on both. Okay, well I didn't. We're just going to figure that out now. So what we can do is just glue a little I shouldn't say that because everything's all weird now. Glue a little piece in here to kind of hold stuff extra. Chop off a teeny bit of that end. I'll do the same thing with this. Chop off a little bit here and there to give it some interest. And doing that's just adding time. You don't have to do that stuff. That's just it's just like an old thing people do. It doesn't have to be. And then we're going back to a lot of spider webs here. Nothing a lighter can't take care of, though, right? Right. Something like that. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Maybe there's a little groove cut out right here. There's a whole board. Alright, cool. And this kind of stuff, especially if it's inside and you're not going to see it, you're just wasting your time doing it, truthfully. I'm just doing it so you can see me doing it. Maybe it's an idea you like. Maybe it's something you want to try. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I appreciate everybody even watching, truthfully, man. Like I said, I started this channel. I thought I was going to get 30 viewers. I don't edit anything. I don't do anything new or spectacular. I don't invent anything. I just, do my thing. That is terrible. Come on now. A little better, not much. Something like that. I need to chop off a good bit of this side, probably. Let's do it that way. Chop off that. Yep. Little dry fit action there. Woo! That's the way she likes it. Oh, come on. I gotta watch what I say. People don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear my nasty, bad jokes. Shame on me. Just shame on me. Terrible. Report me to the decency cops. I have failed a nation. All right, we're getting there. Man, that was a good call, man. I picked the right amount of sticks, dudes. Picked just the right amount. That was total luck. Especially since I haven't, measured anything, It's just been, freestyle, so. Super good luck. That does not happen often. And when it does, it's like Fando Casinos. Feeling number 631. Randomly guessing how many popsicle sticks I'll need. Jamie Foxx or some celebrity comes out, calling some other celebrity or person we don't know to tell us how well they're doing guessing. Awesome. Beans, 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 smelling like my back door. Lady made me dinner. It's gonna make me thinner. I just don't think I can stand all this grub. None of it smells yummy, like it's already been retched out the tummy. Do, smelling like my back door. I wiped something earlier and flushed it down the can. My wife's dinner smells like it too. Smells like doo. I don't know what that is. I'm being silly. I'm just making that up. It's being a nerd. All right, something like that. And I think that'll serve our purpose well. We do need some janky steps coming down. So if you want to use steps your miniature is going to stand on, what you're going to find is that they're not going to be in scale. So when you're making stuff, you got to decide, do I want this to be in scale or do I want this to be playable? You can make it playable, and with a fantasy kind of look, it'll look good enough that people will not complain. All right? So what you're going to want to do is get a stick. It's roughly about an inch long. Well, I don't even know how long an inch is, just looking. We're just going to say roughly an inch long. I got a tape measure my bobber up here. Okay, it's longer than an inch, so it's not going to be great. Let's take it down a notch. Let's get a little glue here. Stick that right here. Let that sit for a moment. Let's get a little upright. To give it some support and straighten it up. All right. Let's get another little stick piece. Let me get my bag out of sticks here. I think we need a different piece here. More sticks. Where are my sticks? I've lost my sticks. They're gone forever. They're gone. There are no more sticks in the world. Up them. All right, let me tell you something about bags. So when you grocery shop and stuff, it is ideal to use canvas bags. But you're always going to have those times where you forget your bags, or those times where, it just didn't work, you didn't have it on you, or you had it, but it was more stuff, or maybe you bought something that you think is leaking and you don't want to get on your canvas bag, so you don't have to wash it. I know that happens. I'm not a fool, And there's going to be plastic bags in the world, no matter what we do. And there's a lot of misinformation about how dangerous plastic bags are or are not. The truth is they are a serious risk. There are some microplastic risks and some animal choking risks. That is true. There is stuff like that. But there's another truth as well, and that truth is that a lot of people blow this stuff out of proportion. And spending all your moments worried about every single bag is probably ridiculous, okay? So what I would say is make an effort to use less bags if you can. And if you have them, reuse them. Hear me out. So, if you're going to get a bag, and you're going to have a plastic bag, use it for a liner for your bathroom trash can or small trash can instead of buying a liner and creating more plastic. You've already made a bag, right? You've already bought a bag or acquired a bag. Why don't you reuse it as many times as you can? Use it as a liner. And then if it's not nasty, just dump it into a bigger box or can or whatever you're using for your trash, and then take it out to the curb. You don't have to keep using bags or keep getting new bags all the time. You can just kind of reuse. And this helps reduce bag a lot. So if you don't want a lot of bag out there, that's one way you can do it. You can help. You can be part of that solution easily, okay? So like for me, if I have bags and I got to go out and get some sticks or twigs or pine cones or whatever I'm searching for, I reuse a bag. I use them in my bathroom liner, in my little office liner. And if they're not nasty, like my office liner is almost never nasty, I can just keep using that bag, really. It's not going to hurt me. These are just little things we can do that don't have the biggest impact, but enough of us do it, and it can make a serious difference. We can, I don't even know if these are going to fit in there. Oh, no, they're not. They're not all going to fit. All right, so if they're not all going to fit, we're going to cut one and try to make them fit. And that, my friends, can do it. So this little janky board will go in the middle. You can be an environmentalist, or at least environmentally conscious, and not be over the edge, okay? There are things you can do, like making sure you get regular oil changes in your car, which are good for your car and good for the environment. Using synthetic oil may or may not be good. There's some argument about that right now. As a matter of fact, we just had a big talk about this. There's not a lot of data for the International Millivolt Standard about synthetic oil. There's some data, but for some reason, everybody focuses on just like regular crude oil and refined oil. They don't talk about synthetics. Now, any byproduct that's created in the oil fields and stuff, like plastics and some foams and stuff, a lot of foams. There's no perfect answer to how to get rid of all this stuff. Like, you'll see people go in and testify at Congress and stuff, and you probably laughed at them too. They're saying, we need to get rid of all plastics, and they're wearing clothes that have plastic fabric in them. They're wearing shoes with plastic on them. They're wearing glasses with plastic, People are idealistic and not intelligent. But there are things you can do. And one of the things is trying to reuse any bags that you do have, like plastic bags. Try to use those again, guys. Try to get a life out of those. Don't let them be the scourge of the world. Let them be something that exists, but, we're not going to be excessive about it. And I think you'll find some satisfaction in that, maybe. I know that at first I didn't really feel like it mattered. But I do work for like the world's largest environmental firm. And I have found that even small things over time, or even just convincing one person to hop on that game and say, yeah, I'm cool with that, it makes a difference. Now, there are some funny things, because different plastics do different amounts of damage to the world, right? And different plastics break down to smaller components, and generally, kind of a rule is the cheaper the plastic is, the more damage it might do as it decomposes and falls apart and crumbles into the world, gets worn down through erosion and rubbing against rocks and sand and stuff. Every one of them is going to have a different effect, all right? Like, that's just something we cannot avoid. That's just a fact. But you go to the store, and this is terrible. You go to the store, and they say, here, do you want canvas or plastic? And of course you say, I want canvas. But then every product you throw in the damn bag is plastic. It's inevitable. Every product is plastic. You can do nothing about it. It's just kind of how it is. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to make a little piece for my steps here to hold them flush. And I could have done this in advance like a smart person, but I didn't. So now, I'm trying to glue it in post realisticness. All right. So I want to get in here, twist it, and then get it in place like a dumbass. You're probably thinking to yourself, wow, that is a terrible design. You would be correct. It is terrible. Alright, so let's do some more steps here. And I want to do these ones a little different probably, just because I didn't plan ahead, mostly. You know what I'll do? There we go. Perfect. Something like that. Get up under there and just get to snag. Get right there. Spider webs everywhere. Spider webs. I guess we should look at a miniature since I'm eyeballing all this. Yep, a miniature's going to fit there, and a miniature's going to fit there. I think we nailed it, kids. We've done it. We have cracked the Da Vinci Code of making some crappy steps for our miniatures to walk on. It's almost as good as FanDuel feeling number 139. I don't know what that feeling is. I bet you the Black Eyed Peas know. I'm gonna feel them. Maybe. Who knows? Alright, one more. And we know we gotta snip some of this one off, so let's do that right off the bat. Dry fit. There we go. When it comes to being safe with a knife, the smaller pieces that you're cutting, obviously, the more dangerous it is. So make sure you're taking the time to think about what you're doing. Make sure you're cutting away from yourself. Make sure you're not using a knife so dull that it snags and gets caught. Now, I do that all the time, and it's not right. So make sure you're taking the effort to be safe like you can. So those steps are not even evenly spaced down or anything, but they will capture what we're going for. So now let's start looking at how we can bring this house upwards and start making it look like a shanty or witch shack. So we got some good flat pieces here that might work for that. But we have to ask ourselves a serious question. Do we want our standard witch house like that, or do we want to do like a crisscross shaft kind of deal? And I think what we want to do is like a crisscross kind of deal. I think that would look cooler. So let's see if we can do that. Let's see if we can get something like that going. Now, if it's not perfect immediately, we're going to be able to straighten it up somewhat once we get going. But I'm going to need some more stick roughly that size if we're going to make it look right. Ballparkish. Make sure it's about the same as back there. Let's snip a little bit of this off. Get that little wonky piece. That little wonky piece. There we go. There's some loose stuff on here. You kind of want to pull that off if you can. You don't want that loose stuff because it'll peel away over time while it's on your tabletop and shit. So, boop. Boop. Now, had I been smart and planned ahead, I would have made those crisscross so we could put something up there. However, that's not what happened. So what we're going to have to do is glue something up underneath. And that's how I'm going to handle that. Mind you, I have worked construction before, but not like full time. And well, yeah, I did work it full time. But okay, so I worked construction before, but I did not like build nice houses and stuff. I did things like tile floors and do roofs and a lot of like bigger contract stuff. Because when I was in the Army, I worked part time sometimes on the weekends for extra money, helping out a really nice guy named Eddie. And he took care of me. He knew I was a veteran. He had a lot of respect for vets, or not vets, but I was active duty. But he had a lot of respect for military, and he was just a great, good man. So he would throw me side work, and I was in good shape, so I'd carry shingles and tile, and then I'd help do the stuff. And he was a phenomenal fella. He was always trying to get me to join the Masons, which I mean, I just wasn't into that. I was in the Army, and there were Masons in the Army, but I felt like they were like kind of a club, and I didn't really want to be in that. I'm not into like that skull and bones kind of. I'm not saying the Masons are skull and bones. I'm not into that skull and bones kind of. You get a ticket because you're a brother deal. That good old boy system. Some people are, and that's fine. If you like that brotherhood and that kind of stuff, that's awesome. And if you don't, hey, I understand. It's cool. Just do your thing, man. So this is not a good piece to use because it has like some rugged stuff. We want something that's kind of smooth on both sides. So let me come back with another piece. And we're going to make our windows out of this, our sides out of this. And we're going to save this because we're going to need it for something else. And then we're just going to get a piece of metal and make a bunch of planks for the sides. And these don't have to be perfect, and you don't measure these, you just kind of cut them. Oops. And if you don't follow the straight edge perfectly, don't sweat that. It'll be alright. If one veers off a little bit, it's okay. Ultimately, they're all kind of square, and they're all going to kind of fit. And the chances of me putting these on square and perfect is pretty slim anyways. Okay, I just realized the time. We're going to break this up into a couple videos, I think. Because I do it a lot slower when I'm recording, and I take my time to be safe. And I use materials that I know you can have laying around or get easily. And when I make stuff, I just use whatever I have on hand. So you're going to do the same thing when you're crafting, I'm sure. You're going to use what you have and what you can find. And even if you buy something that you think would work nice for it, you'll do that. When I make these videos, I don't want you to spend any money. I want you to try to get stuff for free, because I don't want you to not have nice stuff, and I don't want you to be broke. Alright, so we're going to call this part 1. This has been Doom, Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. If you like what we're doing here, like and subscribe. If you want miniatures, we sell miniatures. Go to the website. Description has the link to that and a discount code to get a free miniature to try us out and see if you like it. There's also, well, that discount code's not in the link. That discount code's on our Discord, but there's a link to our Discord in the bottom of this video, and there's also a discount code to get 25% off a monthly subscription box of our miniature loot crate. So check that stuff out if you want to. Not a big deal if you don't. Liking and subscribing is appreciated, and actually that's free too. So check that out. It's a cool little button they put down there, and one looks like a little thumbs up, and the other is like, subscribe button. I'm sure a lot of you can read, so that's going to be good. See you when I come back for part 2.